What gender-based double standard infuriates you, viewer edition? Folks, I make no secret about the fact that I am not one who believes in conforming to gender stereotypes if you don't want to. As a guy, I'm known for painting my nails. I've put on mascara occasionally, but frankly, these lashes don't necessarily need it. I wear flashy, flamboyant clothing and all that stuff, but I also do woodworking, and I enjoy doing yard work, and, other manly-esque things. I don't know, and, I think people should be able to do what they want, and I was really encouraged by a lot of your comments, and so let's share some of those now. Story 1. A double standard I hate is that you can't hit women. One time in school, there was this semi-fat kid and this one girl kept on playing with his feelings, making fun of him because of his weight. What she did affected me because he was my friend too, so one day she sneaks up to him and pinches his chub and laughs. Her actions passed me off, so I didn't want to get in trouble, so walked with her and said, personally, I would have apologized, but honestly, what did he do to you for you to think that's okay? Of course, she said some smart butt stuff. Well, what are you gonna do, throw him into me? That would definitely hurt. She proceeded to push me and laugh. What she didn't expect is for me to throw, in my opinion, the meanest punch I have ever thrown in my life. Principal saw everything on the cameras, came to the hallway immediately, took me to the principal's office. She was taken to the nurse's office because her nose was really bloody. The result was me being suspended for 2 weeks, had to apologize to her family, and write a letter promising I wouldn't do anything like that again. But her parents made her go to a new school because it was too dangerous. I didn't get grounded, though. My parents took it as a manner in self-defense, which was great, but I haven't heard anything about her since. I'm 23 now. I was 15. I'm torn. I think that, if you are being, attacked by someone, be they male or female, you have the right to defend yourself. Absolutely. But at the same time, I know she pinched your friend, and that's not cool. Nothing that she did is cool, and I don't want to defend this girl at all. She said some words and stuff to you, and you resorted with violence, and I don't typically like that. Did she deserve it? Maybe. I'm not the person to make the call on that, but I don't know. You responded to some, mild invasion of body space with her pinching your friend. Not okay. And her spouting off some real crap from her mouth, and you hit her with a big old punch. So, I don't know, folks. What do you think in the comments? I'm torn with these things, but I don't think that this was necessarily a situation that I would have resorted to violence personally. Story 2. Me and my girlfriend are a lesbian couple. We're both 19 and just moved into our new apartment a week ago. Because of this, we're going to hardware and furniture stores on the daily. We constantly get asked whose brother/dad is putting stuff together. I'm the one putting it together. My dad taught me how to do this at a very young age, and I could put stuff together with no supervision by the time I was 7. I'm an only child, and my dad has severe back problems, and my girlfriend has a terrible relationship with her little brother, who's only 14, and her close-minded parents. Yeah, you're going to run into people like that all the time. And I hate that for you. I'm sorry that you have to go through that. Because I don't know how long it's going to take for a lot of people to shake off that mindset. I grew up with a mother who was significantly better at anything carpentry, mechanical. Like, if I have car problems, I've gone to my mother. When I was working on building stuff, my mother. And yeah, I've experienced these things too when I'm going, I've been picking out nail polish, stuff like that. I get people who are like, oh, well, what colors does your girlfriend or wife usually wear? And I'm just like, this is for me, and I need something that's going to go with a very loud outfit. The best I can say is in those situations, you just straight up tell them, I'm putting it together. And you don't even have to say it in a way that's take that, the patriarchy or whatever. Just say it in a plain, matter-of-fact way, because I feel like that gets them just a little bit more when you're like, yeah, I'm the one putting it together, dummy. Story 3. Something that I don't understand is that when I was younger, I had this phase where I absolutely hated pink, despised it, even though it was my favorite color a year before. And my parents were completely fine with that, and to this day, my room is like 75% blue, but when my then 8-year-old brother chose to use a pink towel one time, my parents ended up spending 7 minutes explaining to him that he wasn't going to use a pink towel because he was a boy. Story 4. Honestly, I hate how both genders go through sexism. I honestly feel like this word or term shouldn't exist just because we are weaker, more emotional. We should be able to choose our options, not being told to toughen up. You shouldn't do that. Let the boys/girls handle that. Yes, it may sound stupid, but we have to remind ourselves, we are the ones who created sexism. We decided that females and males have to be put in certain categories or else we get slandered. It infuriates me how both genders have to be told what to do or endless suffering of slander and weakness are shoved into you. So this is a message to anyone who is dealing with these jaw-gnawing comments out there. You are not weak just because you cry. You are not weak just because you are seen as lesser than anyone else. Crying is not a sign of weakness. It shows strength. You are proud to show your emotions to someone. You can choose your own path, not what somebody tells you to do. You can do anything, even if you're a girl or boy or any other gender. Don't let anything stop you. I'm saying these things because even as a female, I get based on it. I'm shown as a crybaby, so please do not think any other gender is lesser than another. Thank you and have a good night. Edit. I'm aware biologically men are stronger than females, however, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about how some people don't have the decency to treat each gender the same. Some people treat others awfully or differently than their own just because they themselves are different, body-wise, skin color, gender, etc. I'm not sure why some people don't understand that because I'm not talking about biology. I'm talking about how all genders go through sexism, and I think that sexism shouldn't even exist in the first place. We should all just treat each other equally. I know that's not how the world works, and you can't just say, oh, well, we should treat each other equally and expect people to listen, but even if that's the case, we can at least try. I'm really just trying to share an opinion, and it's okay that some people might disagree with me, and it's my fault for not making this clear. Hey, for what it's worth, I agree. No one gender is better than the other. Emotions should be expressed. Yeah, there are so many of these little things that no matter if you're a guy or a girl or non-binary or whatever, you're going to be dealing with people who just have these stereotypes. And the best I can say is, God, I'm going to get corny and bring up my favorite Shakespeare quote, "To thine own self be true." That's the best I can say. And the more and more of us do that, the more the rest of the world might just have to actually accept that's the way it is. Story 5. I hate how when someone sees a masculine woman, it's considered cool and normal, but the second they see a feminine man is when it's not okay. Feminine men are gay, sissies, twinks, and constantly looked down on, but masculine women are bad but tomboys. Can't we just respect both tomboys and tomgirls? I like feminine men. I like masculine women. I like feminine women. I like masculine men. I like people who don't fit into either of those stereotypes and don't conform to one gender or change, or people who are exploring new things that they might not stick with. Everyone's growing and changing and different, and I think that you are all beautiful as long as you're being true to yourself and you're not hurting anyone else. Story 6. As a woman myself, well, teenager, I've had a few double standards of my own where my family was saying it was okay for my male cousin to not want kids, but when I said I didn't want kids or a marriage, they just stared at me and kept saying I'll change my mind and things happen. I do not want kids because I'm mentally unstable, but they say I'll be a perfect mother? No, I will not be a perfect mother, as I lash out at many young children in my family already and have caused minor injury due to my anger issues and mental health. I'm working on it, yes. Edit. To the few people who have deleted comments siding with my family, I will not be having children. I have high-functioning autism and CPTSD and a few underlying conditions. I have very low impulse control and I'm easily angry. If a baby crying or screaming sets me off, I will end up harming that child. I've done it before with family members' children and felt horrible because I don't like hurting people. I will not be a selfish person and put a child's life in danger. If I bring it into the world, I will not be the person to make a child's life hell. Therefore, I am refusing to have children. Please keep pro-life and pro-motherhood at all costs, no matter the situation, out of my comments. If I were to have a child and seriously harm it due to my mental health, you would be the same people to turn around and call me a horrible mother in person. I already have to care for a dying sibling throughout my childhood, and I've lost my childhood. I'd much rather spend my time as an adult recovering from my traumas and working on my mental health with my partner whom I love very much. If I do have a child, it will be very far into my life when I've learned how to control my mood swings, but that will take years and years. Sorry if this doesn't make sense reading it, though, if you're even reading through English, and math isn't my best subject or best interest. I do way better in artistic and logical fields. I like to observe. There is nothing wrong with anyone who doesn't want to have kids for any reason. If you do not want to have kids because of dealing with your mental health and stuff like that, that's okay. And if you change your mind down the line and you realize you're a place where you want to have kids, it's okay that you change your mind. And if you just say, I don't want to have kids because I don't want to have kids, that's my choice. Me and my partner, we don't want kids solely because we just don't want kids. We're happy without them. Yeah, don't let other people bully you with that kind of stuff. You have every right to not want kids, and you have every right to change your mind later if you want to. But to all those people who are just like, well, one day you'll see. Shut up, those people. Story 7. I've heard of an autistic woman looking for an expert on the spectrum and booked an appointment. When she arrived, the doctor asked, "Where's your son?" The woman didn't know what he was talking about. "You asked for an expert on autism. Where's your son?" The patient. The woman explained, "I am the patient." This so-called expert didn't think autism could appear in adults, let alone women. I have it too, and it took forever for doctors to realize girls can have it too. Story 8. My experience is when it comes to single parents, my single mother has been constantly judged when there's no genuine concern. But my father, who was actually abusive, was seen as incredible for being a single parent since, as a man, it's so difficult to connect with children. There's multiple gender stereotypes there. Also, whenever I had medical meetings, I'd bring my mom, but they always sent emails addressing the man of the house. Story 9. This right here is my pet peeve. It's so infuriating that people just completely make these sort of judgments based on nothing except your gender, and it can ruin your life, especially as it has affected my mother, and I found myself shouting at people trying to hit my siblings and me with double standards. And the amount of times I've been told to chill, it's just a joke, or get lost, no one's talking to you. So I wish I could hit people more with no one gives a crap what you think, go mind your own effing business. Story 10. Not really a double standard, but it's something relating to gender roles that I felt like sharing. I'm a 16-year-old guy. My closest friend is Yuki, a girl I met in 3rd grade and have been best friends with ever since then. We're practically inseparable and always will be, so we hang out a lot. Most people seem to assume that we're dating, since even in school we spend a lot of time together. There have been more times than I can count where someone just assumes we're dating. Neither of us have shown romantic interest in each other, and she's bi in a relationship with a pretty cool girl. When I'm talking to someone and she's brought up, it always comes back to asking me if I'm romantically interested in her, and in my head I'm always like, can I just be friends with someone of the other gender in peace? This doesn't even apply to just Yuki. It applies to most of my close friends who happen to be female, and people just jump to the conclusion that I want to date them. It pees me off that I can't just be friends with a girl in peace. Thanks for reading my little rant. Have a nice day. I am so with you here. Guys and girls can be friends. Gay guys can be friends with other gay guys and just want to be friends. Lesbians with lesbians, everything. Any mix can just be friends. And I'm okay with a friend going, you hang out with them a lot. Are you interested in them? I think that kind of questioning might be okay. But there are some people where that's never just it, where they always have to poke me like, come on, you're always hanging out with them. Surely you must want something more. That kind of stuff just has to stop, no matter who is on either side. It just gets tiring, and it's a weird mental pressure that builds on people, and then they start to question themselves, should I be wanting to date this person? And then you start trying to make things happen that you don't actually want to happen, and it just messes stuff up. So yeah, just be okay being friends, and other people, chill out just a little. Story 11. My dad would often say this: because I am a woman, my father expected me to have a husband and at least one child by the time I was 40. He also expected me to have a college degree. The first time he brought this up, I remember, was when I was 4 years old. My mom also expected me to do the former two of these things until I came out, but she thinks it's just a phase. Story 12. This always happens in school. If a girl tells a joke, no one laughs, or she is called a pick-me or try-hard. When a guy tells a joke, everyone laughs, and doesn't even matter if the joke was offensive or unfunny. We have this thing where the teachers choose 2 people to go represent our class, and they use a wheel. If a boy gets chosen first, the teacher will go, let's pick a girl. Or if another boy is chosen again, they would spin the wheel again until a girl gets chosen. If a girl is chosen, they wouldn't say, let's choose a boy, and if another girl gets chosen, they both go, what the F? Story 13. The fact that it's normal for girls to have long hair and not dudes. I've been called a girl multiple times, and people always ask when I'm going to cut it. Every time someone asks, I'm adding a month. Story 14. Back when my brother was born, up until now, still going, I was taking care of him. When he was younger, this included changing diapers, giving baths, feeding and burping him, and other things. Now it's little more than putting him to bed, but still. Whenever I told my homeroom about it, we had a thing called highs and lows where we said the highs and lows of the weekend. About half the girls wouldn't believe it because, in their words, only women would deal with those kind of annoyances. Still annoyed to this day. Story 15. I hate these standards so much. Personally, one I hate the most is that all women have to shave and men can't. My mom started calling me really offensive names until I started shaving myself. She would say I had super hairy man legs, and it was really hurtful. She also said I had gorilla legs. I can't stand this one. I'll be honest. The thought that women have to shave, no, you don't. And thankfully, I think, did some searching before and everything, because I know someone who doesn't shave, and they felt awkward about it, and we looked it up, and something like a quarter of women Gen Z and millennial age do not shave anymore. And good for you. If you want to shave, great, but you shouldn't feel pressured by society, and there shouldn't be this weird judgment if you don't. I personally don't like, it's not, my personal preference is not for people who are shaven. It's just, I don't know. I like body hair and stuff on either gender. Story 16. I do gardening and plant stuff, and I'm a guy. My sister, who is my twin, is into plants too, but hasn't been gardening anywhere near as long as I have. I've got a huge number of species memorized with different names and ideal care conditions. Half the time, extended family members still assume that she's the one who did a particular garden project, even though most of them know I'm the plant guy. And several have asked me about how well certain plants would grow at a particular location. It's made more annoying by the fact she's an artist and already gets a ton of attention over that. I'm a science major, so I don't have much visually impressive material to show off. So when I do something that looks nice in the garden, it's incredibly frustrating when they just assume it was my sister's work because she's a female. Story 17. One time, some of my close family members heard that I got to the quarterfinals of the in-country math competition, and after congratulating me, they literally said, but you don't need to try/work as hard. In future, your husband will carry all of the finances, meaning he will be working more and bringing more money to the family. That was sweet. Story 18. I'm a hard-working prospective engineer, and I'm in this engineering club. The way this club works is we have events, individual competitions you can choose to compete in with other schools, could be team or individual, and everyone chooses 2 to 6 events to work on. Last year, I did an event with a guy. I am female, and even though I did most of the work, he got most of the credit when we, in actuality mostly entirely me, ended up winning second place for that event at the statewide level. People just assumed he did most of the work, and I was just tagging along for bragging rights. I did 95% of the work and he barely understood it. Story 19. I get really annoyed that girls are supposed to be super complex and have their own language or whatever when it comes to romance, and that every girl is supposed to understand it too. As a female, no, I don't know why your girlfriend broke up with you and then said she still likes you, and no, I don't know how to help you. Another thing that bothers me is that it's weird for a woman to have hair on her body, but normal for a man, and even considered manly. I've gotten told by other girls that my legs need to be shaved, and once a guy pointed out that I had armpit hair. Like, what? Can we add to the whole, like, oh, girls are supposed to be super complex and have their own romance language and this and that? Can we also just add, like, be done with this idea that, like, oh, I'm a guy and I don't know how to talk to girls, and so girls have to do all the work and, be like super clear and open with me. Maybe the girls are awkward too. They're allowed to be the awkward ones and not know how to proceed. You can't put all the onus on them, I mean, everyone has to, make some concessions and step out of comfort zones. So, yeah, I'm with you. Story 20. I have a bit of a bloody take to tell. I'm male. It was towards the end of the year in school, and it was some big outside thing and was crossings of pavement when someone ran right into me and slid right through all the gravel I was in, some of the worst pain I'd ever experienced, with a sprained ankle, and my knees were really scraped up and bloody from all the gravel. I felt like I was going to throw up, and with the help of nobody, I hobbled over to the nurse. She seemed annoyed to have to help me get to my locker to go home, but anytime my sister walked in with a stomach ache, the nurse was overly sympathetic. So yeah, it's the whole guys can't show emotion, and even if we get hit by a truck, we're supposed to walk it off. Story 21. The 12th story I can totally relate. My brother's 17, I'm female, 16, and my cousin male is 15. I have 5 other cousins who are all 5 years old or younger. I hate the thought of babysitting. I hate holding babies, and I don't really know how to interact with them without feeling extremely awkward. Yet, all of my aunts turn to me to hold their baby or babysit just because they had done the same when they were teenage girls. Or they tell me I should babysit, which I really don't want to. My 15-year-old cousin is better with kids. Maybe ask him. But everyone still turns to me because I'm a woman. I don't even identify as a woman. I'm non-binary, but just not out to the rest of my family. Luckily, my parents understand and step in whenever they can, but it still kind of sucks. I think that's totally fine. You should not feel like, just because you're identified by others as female, though, hey, I'm with you. You are non-binary, and I support that 100%. But yeah, no, there is this presupposition that it's like, oh, well, it should be a lady to watch over the children, for they will know what they are doing, and they like children. That is the way of things. It's not always, I mean, yeah, I've known plenty of women who don't like kids and they're not good with them, and that's fine. And I know lots of guys who are great with kids. I've been rambling a lot with my comments in this video. I just have a lot to say. Clearly, it's a topic that's kind of close to my heart, so sorry if I'm bugging some of you who don't like my comments, but that's the way it is. Story 22. As a teenage female, I'm constantly asked if the reason I'm upset, angry, or speaking passionately is because I'm on my period. 9 times out of 10, no, it's not. To combat that, I don't show negative or strong emotions much anymore. The result? I'm asked why I'm so emotionless and told that I should be more passionate about my feelings, then asked if I'm annoyed because I'm a sensitive woman. Story 23. Might be a hot take, but from past experiences, it's how I feel. It sometimes feels like you're better off not letting people figure out you're a girl when you play online. Things go smoothly when I play without a mic or just type and chat regularly, but whenever they ask me what gender I am, I honestly don't give a straight answer or just lie. The few times I've answered truthfully, the atmosphere changes, mostly to attention I don't want. I've made a few friends through some lucky breaks, thankfully, but it was through a good amount of trial and error. There's been times I end up getting hit on and or gotten undesirable messages. I even mistakenly made friends with some guys only to find out they just really wanted to be friends for an entirely different and obvious reason that the me back then should have figured out sooner. Not saying this happens to every girl, of course. It's just been my personal experience. I just try to keep to myself when I play alone online. I don't play too many games online. I used to play some competitive ones. And yeah, anytime that I was in some random group in Overwatch or something and someone revealed to be a female, it never went well for them. Some guys can be crappy. Not all guys, thankfully, but unfortunately the crappy ones tend to also be the loudest. And so I am sorry that you have to deal with that. I can't possibly know what that's like, but know that if you ever run into me in an online game, well, it's probably not me, but if it is, I will treat you with respect.
Story 24. I'm really good with children and love to babysit, but I was told by several people, including my own parents, that I couldn't babysit girls on my own, including one girl who I helped raise and who was like a sister to me. They even made me block her phone number because apparently if I contact her directly instead of through her parents, then I'm a pedo. Soon after, I found out directly from her that she was being bullied and was too scared to tell her family. I had to be the one to encourage her to say something, and it did get fixed once she did, but I could have helped her sooner if my family didn't block her number on my phone and then delete it from it when I unblocked it. Neither my sister nor I have any qualms with each other. It is literally just other people that assume any guy that is good with children, is near a female child, is innately a kitty diddler. Story 25. In regards to the whole men can't be vulnerable bit as a man, I have to agree, but it does heavily depend on the people you're around. For example, at my high school earlier this month, I was at a football game that got shot up. I was attending as I was in the band and had to go to all of the games. After removing my uniform and putting my things away to keep myself busy, I noticed some people crying. A decent chunk of them were other guys. Despite nearly being on the verge of tears myself, only really able to keep it together through the power of being prepared to assist whenever needed in case someone was hurt. I had some first aid experience through the Boy Scouts, or really any situation I could help. I almost sort of, not sure how to describe this, felt pity for them rather than the respect I usually did, if that makes sense. While I quickly snapped out of it, I have realized what it means for the overall status of society as a whole. Later, I would end up talking about my experience to others that were there, most of which were other guys, over the weekend via Snapchat, and overall, I'd say it helped the recovery process. That, along with expressing my anger by wishing the shooter get R'd and murdered in jail, but that's an entirely different state of affairs I do not wish to delve into right now. Story 26. I was in 6th grade back in the 90s, and that was when we had our first musical instrument class. One boy chose the flute and was instantly regarded by almost the entire class as being gay. Things only got worse for him when we reached junior high. My oldest sister played clarinet in high school at the time, so I asked her about it. Apparently, a guy picking the flute meant he was instantly regarded as being gay because only girls and gays play the flute. It got so bad for him by 7th grade that he attempted self-delete about a month or 3 before my dad got a promotion and he moved away.
Okay, yeah. I was in band in grade school and middle school and the very beginning of high school. And it is weird how certain instruments are, like, gender-coded to some people. Like, yeah, flutes. Well, that's for the ladies. Men shouldn't be playing the flutes. And I remember we had, there was a woman who did tuba for us, and she got crap for that. Why? Oh, it's a tuba. It's so big. How can you even carry it? Like, they're instruments. God sakes, people. Can anything just not be gender-coded to you?
Story 27. I absolutely hate double standards surrounding R. If a man R's a woman, he gets rightfully jailed. If a woman R's a man, she gets off scot-free and maybe a month or 2 at worst. Story 28. Okay, I hate the boys are creeps with children. My brother is great with my cousins, who are girls, and if I saw a Karen say that he's a pedo, I will actually be appalled. Story 29. This is just a standard. Boys don't cry. My dad taught me this, and when my grandma died, I tried to not cry, and all my friends called me cold-blooded. So now I have the pennant nickname Cold-Blooded. Story 30. How could you not be interested in me? Are you gay? Lady, if I was harassing you the way you've been harassing me, half of these people would have called the cops by now, and the other half would be filming for evidence. Go away. Please leave your story in the comments. I would love to make a video on them in the future. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.